DEI was sold to us as compassion, fairness, inclusion, opportunity, and who could be against that, right? Who could possibly oppose a world where people are treated with dignity, where racism is rejected, where people are judged by who they are and what they can do? That sounds great, but that's not what DEI became. DEI became something much darker. It became a machine, a corporate religion, a government checkbox, a university sermon, a way for powerful people to divide ordinary people into categories, rank them by identity, punish them for things they never did, reward people for things they never achieved, and then call the whole thing progress. And the best part, if you question it, they say that you're the problem. Because nothing says open-minded society quite like punishing people for asking questions. If you don't know, DEI stands for diversity, equity, and inclusion. On paper, it sounds harmless. Diversity means different kinds of people. Inclusion means people should be treated with respect. Equity means, well, that's where things start getting slippery. Because equity does not simply mean equal treatment. It means equal outcomes. And that is the trap. Equality says everyone gets the same rules. Equity says if the results are different, the system must be guilty. So instead of asking, did everyone get a fair chance? DEI asks, did every group end up at the same place? And if the answer is no, then somebody must be blamed. Somebody must be corrected. Somebody must be shamed. Somebody must be moved aside. As usual, that somebody is not the billionaire banker, the corrupt politician, the corporate executive, or the university administrator charging kids $40,000 a year to be lectured about privilege. No. It's usually some regular person just trying to get a job, pay rent, feed their family, and survive the latest government-approved economic disaster. Congratulations, you are now the oppressor. Please report to HR for your re-education. The biggest lie of DEI is that it fights discrimination. Because in practice, it often creates a new kind of discrimination and calls it justice. It says we should stop judging people by race, gender, identity, background, or appearance, then immediately judges people by race, gender, identity, background, and appearance. Amazing. They say we need to stop dividing people. Then they divide everyone into identity groups. They say we need to stop stereotypes. Then they stereotype entire populations. They say we need to stop treating people differently based on race. Then they build entire hiring systems, grant systems, promotion systems, and government programs based on race. But don't worry, this discrimination is the good kind. The moral kind. The kind that comes with a PowerPoint presentation and a consultant making $8,000 an hour. And here's where the hypocrisy gets truly insane. DEI is only really pushed in Western countries. Canada, the United States, Britain, Australia, Europe. These countries are constantly told that they're uniquely guilty, uniquely oppressive, uniquely shameful, uniquely in need of correction. Meanwhile, look around the world. Most countries openly protect their own culture, language, borders, tradition, and national identity. They don't apologize for existing. They don't hold workshops about how their majority population is problematic. They don't tell their children that their country is mostly a crime scene with a flag. But in the West, we do exactly that. We teach kids to inherit guilt instead of responsibility. We tell people to obsess over identity instead of character. We tell citizens their history is only shame, their culture is only oppression, and their future must be managed by experts who somehow always end up with more power, more money, and more control. Isn't it funny how that works? The people telling you to check your privilege are usually doing it from a taxpayer-funded office with a massive pension. Now let's be clear, real racism exists. Real unfairness exists. People have been mistreated. People have been excluded. And where that happens, it should be called out and fixed. But DEI does not fix it. DEI turns human beings into categories. It reduces people down to labels. It doesn't see a person. It sees a box. And once you accept that, everything gets ugly fast. You're not an individual anymore. You're a representative of your group. Your achievements are suspicious. Your struggles are ignored if you belong to the wrong group. Your opinions only count if they match what the DEI machine has already decided your identity is supposed to think. That's not inclusion, that's identity management. That's social control with better branding. And the results? Look around. Are people more united? No. Are institutions more trustworthy? Definitely not. Are workplaces healthier? No. Are universities producing stronger, more independent thinkers? No. They're producing people terrified of saying the wrong thing. Terrified of being recorded, terrified of losing their job, terrified of offending someone who's been trained to treat disagreement like violence. DEI was supposed to create tolerance. Instead, it created a culture where everyone walks on eggshells while pretending this is normal. None of this is normal. It created a world where comedy is dangerous, honesty is risky, and common sense needs a legal department. It created a generation of people who can survive a panic attack over pronouns but can't survive a disagreement at lunch. That's not strength. That is institutional fragility, and they call it progress. The corporate version is even funnier because giant companies love DEI, banks love DEI, big tech loves DEI, governments definitely love DEI, universities love it. Every giant institution that has spent decades crushing ordinary people suddenly cares deeply about fairness. How touching. The same corporations outsourcing jobs, raising prices, harvesting your data, lobbying governments, and replacing workers with automation are now here to lecture you about kindness. Thank you, soulless multinational corporation. Please tell me more about empathy while you charge $9 for a loaf of bread and monitor my online behavior. DEI gives powerful institutions a costume. They put on the costume of morality so nobody asks what they're actually doing. It's not accountability, it's camouflage. They don't have to pay workers better, they don't have to lower prices, they don't have to stop corrupt lobbying, they don't have to stop abusing the public. They just have to change their logo in June, hire a diversity officer, and release a statement about belonging. Problem solved, justice achieved. Please continue shopping. And government loves DEI because it gives them another excuse to expand their bureaucracy. More departments, more funding, more forms, more training, more compliance, more speech codes, grants, committees, consultants, more unelected people deciding what words you can say, what opinions are acceptable, what values are approved, and what kind of citizen you're allowed to be. That's the real danger. DEI is not just some annoying office training. It's becoming a government philosophy. It says outcomes must be managed. Speech must be managed. Hiring must be managed. Culture, children, history must be managed. And if you resist, well, that just proves you need more managing. The darkest part is what DEI does to merit, because once merit becomes suspicious, society starts to rot. You want the best doctor, the best pilot, engineer, firefighter, teacher, the best person for the job, not the person who completes the spreadsheet, not the person who improves the institution's optics, not the person who satisfies some political formula. When standards fall, real people get hurt. When competence becomes secondary, systems break. And when systems break, the wealthy always escape first. Ordinary people pay the price. Always. The elites get private schools, private doctors, private security, private everything. The public gets the experiment. And when the experiment fails, they blame the public. Again. And here's the truth. Most people do not hate diversity. They hate being manipulated. They hate being lectured. They hate being told their skin color, background, or identity determines their moral value. They hate watching institutions obsess over ideology while everything real gets worse. Housing gets worse. Healthcare, schools, crime, costs going up. Everything's getting worse. Trust goes down. And through it all, some highly paid official stands at a podium and says the real emergency is that your workplace hasn't done enough unconscious bias training. Are you kidding me? People can't afford to eat. Families are drowning. Young people have given up on home ownership. Communities are falling apart. And the people in charge think the solution is another diversity statement. This is not leadership. This is parody. The alternative is not hate. The alternative is sanity. Treat people as individuals. Reject real discrimination, real racism. Protect equal rights. Restore merit. Tell the truth. Help people based on need, not identity politics. Stop using race and gender as political weapons. Stop teaching people how to resent each other. Stop pretending bureaucratic language equals compassion. And stop letting powerful institutions divide citizens while they rob everyone blind. Real division is not ordinary people versus ordinary people. It's not neighbor versus neighbor. It's not one race versus another. It's the public versus the machine. And DEI has become one of the machine's favorite tools. A tool to distract, to divide, to control your language, to shame dissent, a tool to make people afraid. And once people are afraid to speak, afraid to question, to laugh, afraid to criticize, afraid to tell the truth, you don't have inclusion. You have obedience. So no, I'm not against fairness. I'm not against dignity. I'm not against opportunity. I'm against the corporate government identity machine that took those words, hollowed them out, weaponized them, and sold them back to us as morality. DEI started as a promise to bring people together. But somewhere along the way, it became a system that profits from keeping people divided. And maybe that was the whole point. because divided people don't organize. Divided people don't push back. Divided people don't notice the people at the top getting richer, stronger, more untouchable. They're too busy fighting and arguing over labels. And that's why DEI makes no sense anymore. Not because diversity is bad, not because inclusion is bad, but because the modern DEI machine is not about unity, it's about control. And the sooner people wake up to that, the sooner we can get back to something much more dangerous to the people in power: common sense.